Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching or listening to this, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bell, proudly sponsored by Champ's Boxing Store and in association with the British and Irish Boxing Authority. As my ever, we're joined this week by Matt. Hi, Matt. How you doing, mate?
How's it going, Lee? You all right, mate?
Yeah, and this week we're joined by two special guests. As you would have seen on our last episode, we were fortunate enough to join Checkmate promotion at their No Surrender event. Back with us, friends of the show, it's Kelly and J.M.P. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the show.
Hiya.
Kelly, we'll start with you. For a week and a half, just over a week and a half from the show, how did it go for you, actually, like running the show and the event itself?
At times, immensely stressful. The day before the show, had 4 people drop out by 11 o'clock that night.
Wow.
They either dropped out or they didn't make weight. That was really difficult at that time of night, thinking I've got to try and get to sleep so I'm okay tomorrow, and I've got to match these 4 fighters in less than 8 hours. So that part was immensely stressful. To be fair, the people I have on my team, I trust them to do their job, and without them, I don't think I'd get through. So I'm really fortunate that it was stressful. It is stressful being a promoter, but it wasn't anything that tested me to the point of saying I can't do this. You know, we've had some really positive feedback, which also helps give you more fire in your belly for the next one. That it went pretty smoothly as shows go. We weren't too late starting. My daughter actually said to me, I don't know if it was my youngest or it was James's youngest, why do boxing shows never start on time? Why are they always so late? And I said, actually, I don't think I was that late compared to the time on the ticket. That's because everything is depends on so many things being right at the right time, and even if you have a boxer half an hour late for their medical, that obviously puts my medical team so far behind. But actually, as far as shows go, the running of the show, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest. As a spectator and working with you, it was one of the better shows I've been to in my boxing career. Like when you walked out, J.M.P, and then flames were going, mate, I had the old butterflies in the stomach, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it was unreal, and obviously we was there quite early that night, and I see you flitting here, there and everywhere, and I was like, I'm sure she hasn't got a drink. I ain't seen her get a drink. so I went to the bar to make sure you didn't get one.
You forget, yeah. I took like a whole picnic bag full of food for like me and the staff, and was like, just help yourself, I'm just going to leave it there. Not one of us even remembered it was there. it is a lot of moving around, and a lot of everybody working together, knowing what they're doing, but I think the more shows you put on, the less stressful that becomes, because we always do like what we call a dry run anyway, sort of the week before, and we always. I'm quite. I have a terrible memory, so I write everything down. There's like notebooks all around the house for different things. Like James will laugh at me, but I think he understands that that's how my life is, And if I write everything down that needs to be done, and it gets ticked off and things like that, then everything goes smoothly, or as smooth as it can go within my control.
I think it ran very smoothly, to be honest. Like as an outsider looking in. It did. There was not one where I've gone, oh bloody hell. Do you know what I mean? Like everything was all there, and like you say, it's good to have your dry runs and write everything down, because if you're not sure, you can just flick the page and have a look. You know what I mean?
Because as well, I've had when on the unlicensed scene, I've had James's support because he hasn't been fighting. So it's kind of like we kind of reassure each other, don't we? And then it's quite difficult when the other person isn't there to reassure the other person that you've really got to be built of pretty strong stuff. Like, I mean, you say within your fight camps, you know, this was different because I wasn't there in the day. It's just those little things make such a big difference. But I'm so grateful for the team that I have and the relationships that I have with them.
Especially, even in boxing in general, you need that relationship. You need people you can 100% trust, from your fighters down to your promoters. You need that small circle to have to trust. I totally agree with you.
Right, so moving on to the fight card itself.
First of all, I'd be interested to know who each of yours fight of the night was, because obviously everybody has different opinions, and the guys that fought would probably quite like to hear, you know, what you guys thought and what your opinion of the fight of the night was. That would be cool.
Lee, you go first, mate.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that Matilda, I think, left an impression, Matilda's fight, and Ashley's fight. Ashley's fight seemed very sort of clinical. I said to Matt, like, the angles of it, even in your fight as well, Jay, your angles, it was good to see, like, the art of boxing, not as a casual fan, just wanted to see the knockout. It was sort of seeing people's angles and head movement, and I see that in Ashley, and I see that in your fight as well, Jay. So for a technical side of things, I think both them fights really stood out for me. And Holly's fight was very entertaining. So I've got like 2 or 3 fights really. So, but it was nice to see because, like, as I keep saying, as a casual, you just watch it on the TV with the big guys, and all you want to see is a knockout. So it was nice to see up close, like, the actual art of boxing, where people were going in with their angles and the body shots. Like, I didn't realise until your show really how devastating body shots can actually be, because it was body shots.
They're worse than headshots sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, they're evil. So my fight of the night. So, like, I'm like Lee. There was a couple. So I like Corey.
Yeah.
I liked his style. I thought he boxed very well.
He did.
Yeah, he was pretty good, and it was hard to believe that was his debut as well.
I know. Yeah.
Like,
I think he's so dedicated and committed. I thought he performed very, very, very technically right, not rushing it. Yeah, I think he performed really well for a debut.
The gym that Matilda and him come from, they don't really accept slouches. Like, you won't be fighting on any show. Like, it's like I said in our last podcast with our guys, like, they're similar to us. They train hard. If you're not training hard, you're not fighting. That's like, they train properly. Do you know what I mean? They don't take it half-heartedly. That's why you end up, like, becoming the one people remember on the night, is because you're doing it properly.
Me other fight. There's still a couple more. Again, Matilda.
Yeah.
Matilda, I thought her shot selection was beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought
she was thinking about it, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Like, I see boxing as a game of chess, and
100%.
she was thinking about her next move and what's coming next. Yeah. She said, obviously, with experience will come head movement more, and you could see, that the basics were good. Yeah.
I liked Ashley Hedges. He was very well. He was very good. Very patient. I found him very, very patient. That them body shots were sinking in lovely. J.M.P, you're the man. He, in my opinion, he was a tough cookie. He was a tough man, and you adapted to everything he done.
Yeah.
You used your adaptation really well. Them stepping off, whipping that body shot in, perfect, beautiful shots. And he got to the stage on I could see his game plan, J.M.P. Do you know what I mean? Like he was sitting on the ropes. He was trying to lure you in, and with you was like, I ain't going. I'm fighting my fight, mate. Do you know? That's what I see of that. And yeah, he was on the ropes a lot, and he was just like, he was letting you tee off on him, and then trying to catch you with that one single shot.
Yeah.
And you weren't letting him doing that. Your rolling was bang on. I think J.M.P, you took the fight of the night for me, even though them people, Holly as well, my God, what a fighter. But you took the night for me on just your adaptation and fighting your fight.
See, I think like we mentioned on my podcast about how the unlicensed schools you in these things. And I think if I didn't have that unlicensed background, someone against him, I would have come unstuck, because I would have probably seen him on the ropes and just giving it everything. But I feel like I've learned the hard way, and people can't lure me in. They can't like get in my head. They can't do that shit to me. Like, I go in there, I do what I'm told to do 9 times out of 10, and that's what I do. Like, I've had all the people try and get in your head. I've had all the people trying to set the traps and trick you into things, and I think that's my 14th fight altogether, and I feel like I've seen so much more than I would if maybe I went amateur instead. So like, when I come out of these fights and people are like, how didn't you get in your head doing that? How did you not just lose your shit with him? How didn't you just want to knock him out? Like, I don't know. It's just, I'm clever. Like, I'm not.
Oh yeah, I think that's what changed in James when he turned over. I think something in you saw it more as, this is more like I said, like, this is a game of chess. This isn't, I'm not going to get drawn into what you want me to do. You're going to think about it, and you're more looking for the shots, and know that if someone's coming to take head off, know how to handle it, because you know that a lot of the shots, when you watch it back again, a few people have said to us that he landed so much on your guard, James, but where we were sitting, it looked like he wasn't, and I think that's where I could see, like, somebody said to me, was any part of you worried because he was trying to take James's head off? And it's like, no, because James was controlled. They were landing on the guard. Like, it's that's where the difference is, I think, in you is, it doesn't phase you. No. You know how to deal with it because you've dealt with it.
Yeah, and this is what we have hard. This is why we have hard sparring. The reason we have hard sparring is so when it gets hard, you know how to deal with it, and you know what to do, and you don't freeze and you don't fall apart. Like, I went back after the first 30 seconds. Like, honestly, what I thought I was going to be getting was a nice little 4 rounds, dancing around, looking like an elite boxer. When after 30 seconds, I quickly realised I'm not getting that. So we've got to fucking change what we're doing here, and we've really got. You can't switch it off with this kid, because he's coming to fucking take you out. And I went back after the first round and I thought, fucking hell, like, this isn't what I was expecting. Like, when I was helping wire up a speaker earlier, when I should have left, like, I might have had a different idea of how this fight was going, and he ripped up the script and he just come out to destroy me. And like, I obviously adapted, like you said, but that's just down to the training that you're able to do that. That's when it comes in with the fail to prepare or prepare to fail.
Yeah, 100%.
But we have that basis covered, like, you know, because for somebody who hasn't ever experienced heavy shots landing, you know, him feeling much bigger than you, because he had a much what's the word you use, a wider build. He was more of a he was more built, that
Yeah.
You know, and things like that, like that's actually makes quite a bit of a difference in a fight, you know. And I just think that's the good thing, is the way that you adapt. And if we don't do that in sparring with people, and we don't mimic things that could happen in fights, like how you then got to deal with it when you've got no time to think, you know, because this person is wanting to take head off, you know.
I've got to be honest about the situation. Like, let's not forget, out of my 14 fights, 9 of them were at cruiserweight. 9 of them I weighed in at 90 kilograms. So I've sparred the heavy guys. I've fought the heavy guys. I've never been put down in a fight. I've never been winded in a fight. I've never had anything like that happen in a fight, touch wood. And when I've come down the weights as a pro, these people are hitting me, and it's like, I'll just walk through this all day. But I'll tell you what, I've never been hit as hard as he hit me.
When I forgot the mic was on, and he got you on the ropes, and you tucked up, and I'm going, move, J.M.P, move! I was shouting at you. I totally forgot the mic was on my jacket.
Like that little moment in that corner, what you're talking about in the first round, is the moment of, like, I always tell my boxers, like, right, if you get into a situation on the ropes, just take a second, compose yourself, take a breather. They're hitting your guard, they're not hurting you. Compose yourself and then do what you got to do. Like, don't panic. So really, in that moment, like, I was just saying to myself in my head, right, don't panic, take the shots, compose yourself, then get out and do your thing. Yeah. And like, but at the same time, I was also conscious that it felt like slow motion in there, and it felt like he was landing a million shots, like in like a 2-second space. And I was kind of like, I've got to move. Like, what you were screaming is almost what I was screaming to myself. You've got to get out. Like, yeah. Right, composure. You've got to compose yourself now and move, or like this is going to go wrong. Yeah.
But you done what you had to do, mate. You got out of there, and mate, your adaptation was just beautiful to watch. It was really good, mate. I tilt me out, and yeah. To be honest, what I do want to say as well, no matter what fighter, for the people that are watching, no matter what fighter, no matter how they win or lose, they climb through the ropes after the fight. They get the biggest respect possible. That we are the 1% of the population of the world that will do it. Yeah, the people that don't do it and have got a lot to say, you're invalid. I'm sorry. So people that win and lost that night, I tilt me out to your full respect. And
also the camps. If you think about the training camps, like if everybody, I can only go on obviously my camps, and if everybody trains to the level and dedicate to how I expect my fighters to dedicate, then like they should have respect for that, because it's hard, and while you're also dealing with life on the outside of your boxing camp bubble, like things are sent to test you along the way, and you've got to stay determined. You've got to still get up in the morning. You still got to run when your legs are hurting. You still got to run when you're hungry. You still got to spar when when you feel like shit. Like
still got to be a dad. Still got to go to work.
Yeah, you know, it's like anybody that can go through a camp, like even without stepping through the ropes, to me, like I have such respect for them, because like it's hard.
And I think that transcends down through our whole gym. So when we have like 3 or 4 fighters fighting, and there's a large core of our gym, like they're like the boo police. Like people are booing the away fighter, they'll be like, fucking cut that shit out. Like they're getting in the ring, don't boo them.
No,
it's like, and before my last fight, before this one, I had sold a lot of tickets to people that have never been to watch me before, and like I felt it. I wanted to make them aware, so I put out like a post saying like, give when he comes out, clap him, applaud him, give him respect, because he's getting in the ring still. he's still, you know, he's putting his life on the line for your entertainment at the end of the day. So, like, I won't, as a boxer, tolerate people booing my opponent, no matter what they may do, whatever, like, they might do in the ring or them persona they might have. Like, give them the respect for getting in there. And it's difficult when there's lots of fighters from different gyms on, and obviously not everyone's the same, but we do try and work with people that have the same kind of morals of us and respect. You've got to respect anyone that gets in the ring.
100%. 100%. Totally agree with you.
And Jay, going back to the night, was there any pressure on you going out last, like being the main event? Was there any pressure you felt on that?
I didn't feel it. No, I before turning pro, I don't remember any fights where like I wasn't in the last 3 that were on for one reason or another. So I've always been used to that. And when I turned pro and all of a sudden I was on like second, yeah, it was quite nice. Like, you get there, get changed, get ready, get on. So this time it was different to my other pro fights, but it's not something I'm not used to. So I'm not really bothered where on the card I am. I quite enjoy being on like first or second, because when you're done, you get to go and speak to people and see people and whatever. But I mean, I don't mind being last.
Means you get to stay in bed longer.
Get to stay in bed longer. Yeah, no, that's not something that really affects me. And especially because in the changing room, like, we had a couple other people from the gym as well. So my mind was a little bit on, you know, reassuring them, keeping them calm, like, takes the focus off you a bit. And that's not something I've ever had before. That was a new experience. Like before, I've always said I'll never fight if any of our guys are fighting. If anyone from our gym's fighting, I won't. Like, I'm not fighting on any card they're on, because my job as a coach there is for them, not for me. Obviously, it's kind of changed now, because my career is so important that I have to fight on our shows, because that's how I can get the most out of professional boxing. So I've had to delegate a lot of coaching roles to other people in the gym, which has been hard. But, you know, in the changing room, when you've got those other couple guys that you know and they're around your gym or whatever, it was quite nice to have them almost as a distraction. That, like, it weren't until all 3 of them had gone out that it was like, oh, okay, now it's.
I think what also is a positive thing about that is they get to see how you deal with it when you're waiting to go out. James has certain things that he does while he's waiting that he finds helpful, and we recommend it, certain things, to certain people, and for them to see that actually, look how chilled out he is. Like, me and James used to play chess in changing rooms. Like, when I used to be on his corner before, like, if I wasn't promoting a show he was on, we'd take chess or Scrabble, and we'd be playing Scrabble or chess in the changing rooms. Like it works. But when you see the other people, like, and they get to see how you are relaxed, I think that's a really good thing, because it shows them that it's all right, especially when they're nervous, you know, to see that actually it's really calm in here. Everyone's having a bit of a laugh, but it's still chilled out. It was a really nice atmosphere. It was a nice atmosphere, actually, in both the blue and the red changing rooms, because I pop my head in every now and again, and it was a lovely atmosphere in there.
And Kelly, how do you separate yourself from, like, being James's partner or fiance now? Congratulations on that. And seeing him, because when I did my event, my wife couldn't come because she said she didn't want to watch me get punched in the head. So how have you coped seeing your partner go through that on that side of the sport? I know you're in it promoting and you train people, but that's still your loved one getting punched. How do you?
Do you know what? That answer's probably changed over the last sort of 18 months to 2 years. So I was first on James's corner 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. I started off that I would just watch in the seated areas. But I used to go to his away sparring with him, and away sparring means generally hard sparring. And I don't know if it started. The thing is, because I've always been involved with boxing, I don't see it as like, you know, like when you go to a pub and there's like having a fight, like that worries me more, that kind of thing, because it's not, obviously I get the because this is boxing, you know, anything can happen, this is boxing, and I do have a little bit of that worry, but as time has gone on, I know James, and I know if he's hurt, or I know if oh, that shot might have stung, or if he's wobbled, like, and I trust my instincts, that it's okay. Like, it's, I think James, he's never been taken down, but he was once punched in the bollocks, which then took him down, and he was on the floor for quite a while in the ring. That obviously set the heart going a little bit, because he couldn't even talk because he was in so much pain, and it was difficult. But it's also my job. Like I said to James, as harsh as this is, like from a promoter's point of view, his fight was what my show needed.
Yeah.
A hard fight, a fight where someone is wanting to take someone's head off. Like I don't enjoy seeing people get knocked out. I don't. Like, to me, I prefer the clinical. Look, don't get me wrong. Oh, when you see a wobble, it's like, oh, but that, to me, I don't like to see that. So I'm losing my train of thought here. So I don't feel that worried anymore. Obviously, I still give him a kiss, tell him I love him.
I think it's just part of being a coach. I think when you've trained someone and you know what they're capable of, and you know what they've been through in the camp, and you've been at the hard spars, I think it's a lot easier than just being your wife who's come just to watch you, because she probably don't know what.
I'd rather be where I am on the corner than in where like, the spectators.
If she weren't involved in every aspect of the journey, and she just come in to watch, and you know, some of them shots looked like they were heavy, and when they were hitting my arms, they sounded like they were landing or whatever. But probably if you weren't involved in the whole thing, and you're just a partner, you'd be like, oh, fucking hell, I don't like this. But I think when you live it day in, day out, like not taking it away from anyone that I fought, but I've been in harder spars, like seriously hard spars with top level amateurs and pros, like. And I think when that's incorporated into your training anyway, when it comes to it on the night, you've already dealt with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that about it, not just James, because obviously Holly from the show, I coach Holly. Like, I care about my fighters, so I always have that little feeling, that flutter of, you know, I really genuinely care about these people, and I don't want them to get hurt, and I don't want them to be damaged mentally, in the sense of, you know, because sometimes if things don't go your way, or if mentally, sometimes it's hard to come back from, isn't it? And I don't want that for my fighters either. So I always have that feeling, but at the same time, like, I don't want it to sound like it's without putting it sort of a way that might not sound terribly right. It's my job.
Like, you know? For example, like when you were talking about when I was in the corner and you were shouting, get out of there, get out of there. Like, looking on as a spectator, it's like, oh my God, he might be in trouble there, he needs to get out. But as a coach, you know, it's her job to come up with something in that moment in her head that she can tell me to either get out, or if that happens again, what to do. It's her job to do that. So you're not thinking, oh shit, there's my fucking partner in there and he's getting his head caved in. She's thinking, what do I need to tell him to get out of that situation?
And I can hand on heart honestly say, in that fight for James, there was not one moment where I was worried. Not one moment, you know. And yeah, not taking it away from your opponent, but I've seen more that would worry me if I was that way in sparring. Yeah. You know, because one of my friends actually said to me, like, did you worry at any point? I said, there was nothing for me to be worried about. Like, I can see him. I know what he's capable of. Like, no, there wasn't.
I was very similar to that when I cornered my cousin. Like everyone was like, he's losing, he's getting hurt. Well, let's get it right. He actually got cut by a headbutt, and I wasn't concerned at all. Yeah, the cut was just above the eye, but I wasn't concerned at all. I knew what the game plan was, and he was actually executing that game plan. Like,
yeah, it's almost very clinical, isn't it? You have to think of it clinically.
The best example of it is Jordan Gill. And when he went back to the corner with Adam Booth, and he was just in the corner catching shots, and Adam was up there talking in front.
Everyone said
and from the outside, it's like, oh my God, stop it! He's taking a pounding. But what they were doing was what they trained, and Adam Booth knew what Jordan Gill was capable of in that moment, and he was happy for it to carry on. It's a coach boxer relationship, and if you're coaching someone properly, you know them inside out. So
because he then threw the shot that knocked the guy out. You know, terrible, because that was so difficult to watch if you don't know from the side of. You could see Booth talking to him, and the whole time he knew what he was saying. He knew, and he was catching a lot on his guard. Yes, there were some, but he pulled that shot out.
Just watching Adam Booth, looking up at him, like he said to him, come and fight in this corner, and he's just talking to him. And from the outside, it looks like you need to stop this fight, but in that moment, Adam Booth was fine. He was talking to him, and it's just how you track. You know what your boxer's capable of, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. It's not you're my partner. It's in that moment, she's my coach. That's it. That's.
And I have to make decisions as his coach. Like if you know, if ever something like that was to happen, I can't think as a partner. I have to think as a coach, because a partner would throw the towel in too early. Really, wouldn't they? You know, you ask your wives, your partners, whereas a coach, they will throw it in at exactly the right time. You know?
Yeah. So we've got one more show, Mark?
Yes, we've got March the 12th. We've had a few sign-ups already for that, actually, which is good, because we've not even got Christmas yet. So I feel very positive that March is gonna, I don't know the wording, it is. December was a step, and it was also maybe a lesson with the time of year, but March I'm feeling very excited about. Really am, like with the people that have contacted us that want to be on, the people that I've already got signed on. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, no.
And what's next for you?
What's next for me?
Yeah.
Whatever Kelly says. I think probably in my head I'll have one more 4-rounder and then we'll move up. The problem is the 4-rounders, you lose a round and you're up against it, and I feel like I'm the longer time I have, the better I am. Like even in the unlicensed, like when it was 3-2s, it's like I was drawing a lot of fights, because by the time I got into it, the fight was over. So then, like, I would just take title opportunities just to have 4 and 5 rounds to like have more time to make it so I could box my style kind of thing and not be like down already in an uphill battle. And I think the more time I get, the more time I want. That's what it feels like. So probably another 4, and then I'd like to move up the rounds and just. I feel like I can show better performances with more time, because, like, I think I'm not entirely sure, but I think I've lost the first round on each 3 of my pro fights. So when you lose the first round, you have got that fantasy in your head, like, only 3 more rounds, we'll lose another one, you're getting a draw here.
Yeah.
And that's no, like, over 6, you know, you can ease in, suss them out, and then you can really like turn it on, I think, and I can really show what I'm about as opposed to trying to rush it.
Yeah, like I used to like I've done a few 6-rounders, and it is like the first. It takes you good two rounds to sort of find yourself. That's what I found. Like, and yeah, I like a 6-rounder.
Right. Last question, and we've had to change it obviously because you've been on the show before.
Oh,
So,
God.
finish the statement. 2023 is going to be.
2023 is going to be the best year yet.
Sounds good. Jay?
2023 is going to be the year that those last doubters and bad sayers will say he's actually something. There's something about him, and he's got what it takes.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, we look forward to seeing that. And thank you again for your hospitality. It was a real pleasure coming up to the show. It was a great show. And thanks for coming back on the show.
Still got it here, look. It's still in, it's in the souvenir box.
You know, a couple of the officials have done that. I've had 2 of us send me a picture. No, 3 send me a picture of them. One's hanging up on in their kitchen, one's in their office. So that's cool. You'll have to keep adding them to the collection though. Every show.
You just make sure you keep that lanyard because you're not getting another one.
We look forward to joining you on your journeys, and thank you again. And anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you.
All right, take it easy.